From NBC 26, this is Storm Tracker Weather First.
Good evening to you. It is 11 o'clock at night and things are still pretty quiet out there across the CSRA. Here's your Storm Tracker 26 live Doppler radar. Up to 84 tomorrow, but there could be strong thunderstorms toward the afternoon. I'll have more on that coming up in a few minutes.
Local candidates sharing their views on how to improve Augusta-Richmond County. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Paige Tucker. We begin with tonight's Decision 2014 coverage. The Augusta branch of the NAACP hosting a debate tonight to inform the public about the elections going on already and into May. The forum was held at Zion Hill Missionary Baptist Church. Board of Elections Chair Lynn Bailey was there telling people about the other offices up for election besides those potentially affected by the Richmond County lawsuit. Candidates from Senate District 22 and Richmond County Commission Districts 2, 4, and 6 all discussed their plans for bringing business to South Augusta.
Do we want another Washington Road? No, we don't. We want to be uniquely and divided. No, not divided. We want to be united, but we need our own.
I believe that bringing a water park to Diamond Lakes will bust South Augusta wide open, because businesses will follow the traffic.
Candidates also answered questions about whether there is a racial divide on the commission and spoke about recent legislation allowing guns in public places. Richmond County Sheriff Richard Roundtree wants people to vote yes to the latest SPLOST package on that ballot. Under the sales tax proposal, about $24 million would be used for video security in cars and on deputies. Also to replace 280 patrol cars, but Sheriff Roundtree also wants to buy a radio system for the office. They currently lease airtime from a South Carolina company, and this arrangement caused some communication issues during the ice storm.
Anytime without radio communication could have literally meant the difference between life and death to the citizens of this community.
The sheriff says the move to buy the office its own radio system could save the county about $500,000 a year. Mayor Dee Copenhaver agreeing with the sheriff, but some city leaders did not, pushing for people to vote no to that SPLOST referendum. NBC 26's Lauren Walsh here for you to explain why.
City leaders are divided on how voters should look at the SPLOST list.
If you're against it, you're against arts and culture, you're against law enforcement and public safety, you're against curing cancer, and you're against accommodating future growth in Augusta.
I'm not against any of those entities, but right now this is a bad package for the taxpayers.
Commissioner Alvin Mason is one of 3 commissioners that want the current SPLOST list to fail.
We'll redo this package and do the needs of the city versus the wants of the city.
Mason has issues with using tax money to fund buildings not owned by the city, like the Imperial Theater, the Miller Theater, and structures at Payne College and GRU. But the mayor believes it will be money well spent.
This allows the city to use these facilities, actually to fund the facilities, but not have to pay maintenance and upkeep and operation. So it's a win-win for the cities and the city and the organizations.
The current SPLOST doesn't end until 2016. Mason believes that's plenty of time to make a new list and bring it before voters next year.
Because at some point, we're going to have to deal with our infrastructure issues, be it the raising of taxes or putting another fee in place like stormwater. And we could do this through the SPLOST, which is the purpose of SPLOST in the first place.
The sheriff supports the current package, but Mason believes he could benefit more from a new list.
The sheriff would literally get more money than what has been designated, and he would actually get it sooner rather than later.
It's a decision that will ultimately be up to voters next month.
Mayor Copenhaver says there's no time to wait. The deadline for the city to put up its share for the GRU Cancer Center is June 30th. If this package fails, the center could miss the opportunity to get $45 million matched by the state. Advanced voting continues in Georgia. So far, 293 people have cast ballots in Richmond County. You can vote from 8:30 to 5 every day inside the Board of Elections office. Saturday voting takes place on May 10th at the same times. Starting May 12th, early voting will take place in 3 locations. Henry Brigham, Diamond Lakes, and Warren Road Community Centers will be open for voting starting at 8:30. Georgia's governor signing several bills into law today. Now you know. Today was the last day for Governor Deal to sign or veto legislative measures that made it their way to his desk. Among those he approved, a law that provides grants for full tuition coverage for tech school students who maintain a 3.5 GPA. He vetoed a measure that would have allowed private probation companies like Sentinel to keep their records secret from the public. Deal has just a few more minutes until midnight tonight to make decisions on any other key items, including drug testing for food stamp recipients. Turning to tonight's crime alert, the man accused of gunning down an Aiken public safety officer was in court today for a pretrial hearing. Stephon Carter is accused of killing Officer Scotty Richardson back in December of 2012. Today, his lawyers asked a judge to keep media away from pretrial hearings to keep the jury pool from being biased. The judge denied that request, and Carter's trial is expected to begin in November. The state is seeking the death penalty. A workplace shooting at a Kennesaw FedEx warehouse today, leaving 6 wounded and the alleged shooter dead. Just before dawn, witnesses say the gunman showed up wearing a combat-ready outfit and he was heavily armed. The shooter also worked for FedEx and easily got onto the property. In all, 6 people were shot with what authorities believe was a shotgun. Nearly 3 hours after police got there, they found the suspected gunman near a loading dock, dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. 3 victims remain in critical condition. Authorities still trying to figure out why this happened. A father and daughter arrested after police found a chop shop at their home in South Augusta Monday. Richmond County investigators say they got a tip about a stolen truck being stripped on the property of Sammy Jones Jr. They say they found parts and the engine of a Ford F-150 that was reported stolen from Lowe's on Peach Orchard Road. The daughter, Cheryl Jones, was also arrested. Both were charged with theft. Sammy Jones was also charged with operating a chop shop. In Aiken County, investigators are looking into why a homeowner in Warrenville burned his own home down intentionally. Mike Warning set fire to his home on Glenwood Drive. He ran into the woods but was later apprehended. His wife and daughter were not home at the time and no one was injured.
Your NBC 26 Storm Tracker forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Still.
Good evening to you. Storm Tracker 26 live Doppler radar is dry across the CSRA and will continue to be at least for a few more hours, but there could be a few showers, maybe even a thunderstorm breaking out. 77 Saturday afternoon. But Paige, just because we did not get the severe weather today does not mean that threat does not exist still for tomorrow. So we'll have to keep a close eye on it.
Still a lot to watch. All right, thanks, Chris. Governor Deal declared a state of emergency in Georgia in preparation for the bad weather. The move freed up all state resources needed to prepare and respond in counties affected. Right now, that declaration does stand for the whole state. Hanging tree limbs that were damaged during the ice storm could come down during potential thunderstorms tomorrow. Local arborist Roy Simpkins says the city of Augusta has done a great job tending to public trees, but there are some hangers, like the ones over this swimming pool on public properties, that still pose a high danger of falling at any minute, especially during windy conditions. At least 34 people killed in the 2-day outbreak of tornadoes and other violent weather that destroyed homes in half a dozen states from Iowa to Tennessee. And the worst may not be over, as Chris mentioned, as a severe weather threat continues to stretch from New Orleans to Detroit. Jay Gray has details.
For the 3rd straight day, a huge cross-section of the country has been on edge and under attack.
Coming up next, it is a simple way to cut costs and keep your home more energy efficient. Details on a local group helping families weatherize their homes. On NBC 26 News at 11 continues. Going green and saving on energy costs. Today, SCE&G volunteers kicked off their weatherization blitz in North Augusta, as it's known. Throughout the week, company employees are giving their time to weatherize 5 homes. NBC 26's Winton Yates has that story.
The Elliots moved into the century-old home 5 years ago after falling in love with its charm and character. But there was just one thing wrong.
The worst thing about old houses, and just about anybody you talk to that has old houses will tell you, is they're not economical at all. They're usually not very well insulated. It just wasn't as big of a deal back then as it is now.
Tuesday, they got a helping hand with that problem from SCE&G as the utility company kicked off their weatherization blitz in North Augusta.
Every year we work with the Governor's Office of Economic Development, and in this case with the Aiken-Barnwell Community Action Agency, and we come in and help those agencies weatherize a home.
And the Elliots certainly needed the help. In January, the electric bill reached $800, and that's just not feasible for this family of 5, especially after experiencing a job layoff in December.
We'd start saving up money, then we'd have a baby. or our car would break down, and it just kind of kept setting us back.
SCE&G took care of all the things the Elliots had been trying to get crossed off their to-do list.
We will do weather stripping, new windows, caulking, sealant. In this house, we're putting in insulation. We do some yard work. Our linemen cut down a number of trees back behind me over my left shoulder, got the trees off the house.
Improvements that will hopefully put a big dent in that bill.
Looking forward to seeing our next bill as much as you can look forward to a bill.
Here for you in North Augusta, Winton Yates, NBC 26.
SCE&G says there are a few simple things you can do in your own home to see a difference in your bill. Make sure you've got that adequate insulation. Watch where you set your thermostat. During the winter, keep them a little lower, and during the summer, a little higher. The Augusta BMW dealership letting the community try out the company's new all-electric vehicles. Taylor BMW letting people test drive the new i3. The vehicle is made completely of carbon fiber, which is made up of 95% recycled materials. The car can be charged by plugging into a regular home socket. It does take a good 8.5 hours to charge, and it'll only get you about 100 miles.
You could tell the car to set a certain temperature, so let's say if it's a real cold day in the morning and you want your car to be at 72 degrees, you can set that thing at 72 degrees and the car is already ready for you.
BMW touting this as its quickest car to go from 0 to 30. Turning to tonight's Education Watch, South Carolina lawmakers voting to update the state's 26-year-old sex education curriculum to include teaching safe sex. The bill would require teaching medically accurate information, including the use of contraception. Currently, contraception can only be discussed regarding family planning. The bill's sponsor says it's needed to help prevent teen pregnancy and STDs. Coming up next, the Supreme Court looking at whether police should be allowed to search through a suspect's smartphone. Details when NBC 26 News 11 returns. Stay with us. So we did pretty well tonight, but you're saying tomorrow we can't, let the guard down.
Yeah, we really dodged a bullet out there today.
Yeah.
We actually had some thunderstorms down to the south along the Gulf Coast that blocked the inflow to any thunderstorms that would have formed up our way, and we actually enjoyed a pretty nice day, but those thunderstorms will not be there to block activity tomorrow, and it looks like it could be fairly stormy. So let's take a look at our climate report for today, but look out for the rough weather toward the afternoon and evening. Paige?
Chris thinks police have a powerful tool in the fight against crime, the same one you use to text your friends, your phone. But should police be able to look through your smartphone when you're arrested? Steve Handelsman has that story.
200 million Americans have smartphones crammed full of private information and images.
There's a new head coach in charge of the football program at Lakeside. We'll hear from Steve Hibbets about his plans with the Panthers up next.
The Lakeside Panthers met their new head football coach on Tuesday as Steve Hibbets takes over for the departed Jarrett Troxler. Over on our website at NBC26.tv.
The owner of the Los Angeles Clippers in hot water after racist statements he allegedly made surfaced last week. Now the NBA is taking action. Tory Dunnan has that story.
Effective immediately, I am banning Mr. Sterling for life.
And we will be right back with a final check of your weather. Stay with us. Grammy winners Lady Antebellum in town tonight to perform a benefit concert for the Ronald McDonald House Charities of Augusta. The concert was at the James Brown Arena. Had to be moved inside from the Lady A Pavilion because of bad weather forecasted. Proceeds from the show go to helping build the new Ronald McDonald House. It's going to be a 23-bedroom home and serve double the number of families the current house holds. Looks like a really fun time.
Yeah, imagine that was not a very easy concert to move.
I know.
Looks like they did a good job. We'll have some thunderstorms coming in, mostly tomorrow afternoon, highs in the mid-80s. There could be a few showers, maybe a thunderstorm overnight, but that threat for severe weather should be tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night, then calming down on Thursday.
All right, we're all in the mood for some calm after these last few days. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for watching NBC 26 News 11. Don't forget to find us on Facebook on NBC 26. Good night.